Welcome back to another video. It is Wednesday evening, it's just gone 6. I have kind of been procrastinating for the last like 15 minutes, I'm not gonna lie. But it's been a productive day. To be honest, I've been in a bit of an odd mood like for the last maybe like 24 hours, kind of like since, even before I trained yesterday, which I didn't speak about in the last video, and I'm probably not gonna speak about in this video, just like certain things have kind of been bothering me, and just gonna keep going, basically, don't really have a choice. But what I will say is I'm feeling pretty good about yesterday's bench session. So if you've not watched the last video, I last and pressed 105 kilos for a triple and then hit 110 for a single. And I didn't rest in between the two either. And I was super proud of that. When I first got told I was doing heavy last and press this block, I did not expect to be even close to that. Like every week I surpassed expectations. So I'm kind of excited about that, although like, won't lie, kind of had my parade shat on today for various reasons. But we're not gonna let those bother us because I'm very happy with that. And in terms of like training and strength, like I've found that delusion back for bench, just have to get that delusional confidence back on squats. Now I think we're gonna be pretty happy. My coach asked me the other day as well, he was like, do you feel ready to push again? Because All England is like 7 weeks away. After this week, I've got another 3-week block, and then I've got a 4-week block where the 4th week literally lands on comp day. And firstly, not realised it was that close until I saw someone I'm competing with post today that it's 7 weeks away, and I was like, that is absolute madness. How are we that close already? But secondly, I said to my coach, I was like, yeah, I actually do feel ready to push again. My hamstring issue kind of, I don't want to say it's not improved as much as I wanted it to, because it has massively improved. Today has been a worse day. However, it was this session last week where I got like quite down at the end because I felt like I wasn't making any progress with it. So I think it is just a case of my SBD Sunday and then not doing my rehab stuff for 2 days does kind of make it seize up a little bit again. And I've been doing a lot more walking, like my steps have been over 10,000 every day this week. So that also probably won't be helping. But when I was walking our dog this afternoon, like I did feel like I was kind of compensating a bit again. I had a bit of knee pain, I had a bit of like hip pain, but the pain hasn't massively spread into my hamstring at all. Whereas before, the pain was constantly in my hamstring. So it has definitely improved. Briefly spoke to the physio yesterday that I'm working with, and we're going to get another session booked in, but to be honest, probably not until the start of April, just because, one, I hate spending money, but also I have to budget, and I've gone way over my budget this month with bench worlds and everything. So I do feel like I should probably like continue with the plan he's given me for a bit longer, because I could definitely think I can still make progress with that. And then probably like start of April, I'll book in like multiple sessions with him. But like it is definitely better than it was, and that's what I have to remember. But because we're now going to be pushing training again after this week, I mean, this week's not like crazy light. It's like RP 6 to 7 maximum, but probably not even that to be fair. But yeah, I'm like hesitant that when I start pushing again, is it going to get worse? But I guess all we can do is wait and see. And if it does, then I think even though bench worlds is like 2.5 weeks after All England's, I'll just have a little bit of a break from squatting and deadlifting. Like if it has to be a week, even if I have to go that entire period just doing upper body / lower accessories that don't irritate it, I would hate to have to do that. But at the end of the day, I have to go with what's sensible in terms of like health and stuff. But also I just want to say, I'm covered in dog hair. If you watch my videos and you think I leave the house like this, I promise you I don't. It's literally just, I've been indoors fussing the dog, playing with the dog, and I'm covered in dog hair, and I didn't want to dehair my clothes to come out here because I will be going in and fussing him again before I leave, so I'll dehair before I leave. I feel like I need to put that disclaimer out there because I really want people to know that I don't leave the house this scruffy. Well, I leave the house scruffy, but not like this scruffy. Anyway, plan for today, I have got set lows. I've got ascending 4s on squats, 140, 150, 160, and then I've got descending 6s high bar, which is 130, 125, 120. And then I've got comp bench 3x5 at 90. So I'm looking down because my phone's on the floor. And then I've got sumo 3x4 at 140. So everything is a set load, which I also like because, you know, decision fatigue, mental load, it's nice not to have to think. But that should all be really comfortable. I just need to kind of crack on and get it done soon. And I've got my rehab stuff to do, some to warm up, some at the end. And then I've got one movement to do at the commercial gym after. I'm going to get some cardio done. I found a really nice routine on a Wednesday of just getting quite a lot of cardio done while I just do replies to clients and stuff on my phone. Generally, I prefer to do replies and stuff on my computer, but the bulk of them have been done already. So it's just like more quick replies and stuff that I'll do when I'm doing my cardio. So that should all be good. Yeah, I'd like to say I'm looking forward to training, but honestly, my mood has just been quite, not down, like I'm fine. There's just been things like bothering me and stuff. And it's like, yeah, kind of just want to sit at home and relax for the night. But we're 7 weeks out, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just crack on. I will say, I did actually wake up to 2 really lovely messages of people that watch my YouTube on Instagram. They'd messaged me and basically just said how much they enjoy my content. And I was like, these are the messages I live for, so thank you. And that they've been keeping up with my YouTube and stuff. And like, one thing I always try and do is just be honest about how I'm feeling. Because when you watch like powerlifting YouTubers, not that there's loads of us out there, but people are very like, constantly chasing PBs, constantly excited, constantly like thriving, which is great, but it's also probably not true. And I will always be honest about like how I'm feeling and stuff. I do think training will help me feel a bit better today, and just kind of getting lost in my training. I am making sure not to rush anything, so I'm just going to take my time tonight. Going to spend a bit more time doing my rehab, warming up, just to make sure things feel as good as possible. And yeah, I'm just going to enjoy it, because one thing I've spoken about this in a lot of videos recently is like managing my stress levels, which the last couple of days I've just felt super stressed for various reasons. I didn't speak about it at all in the last video, but basically, yeah, I've just been feeling pretty stressed. And one thing I've been really good at though is not stressing about time, which was one of my biggest cruxes before, where I would be so stressed about what time I was doing things, and like everything would be on a time limit. I'd have to get everything done by X time, and then I would end up running behind, and then stressing, and then training super late, and then stressing about how much sleep I was going to get, which we're not doing anymore. We're not doing that anymore. I actually even made time today, which is usually really hard for me to do on a Wednesday, to walk my dog this afternoon. Obviously, he does get walked. My boyfriend walks him. But it was like 17 degrees today. I literally went in the woods. I had my jumper and shorts on. And within like 2 minutes of walking, I was like, you know what? I'm too hot in a jumper. I was in my t-shirt and shorts. We went for like a 45-minute walk through the woods, and it was really lovely. I will say hamstring hip issue wasn't the best from that, but it was just lovely being in the fresh air. And one like rule I have for myself is like, I say no phones on dog walks. I do take pictures of my dog if he looks really cute, but generally no phones on dog walks. I don't scroll on dog walks. The most I will do is like text my family back at most if it's important. But generally that waits until I get home. Like I don't want to be anything but present when I'm walking him. And it's just such a good stress reliever for me, I think. And it makes like, it's just like the highlight of my day. Like it really is. And it's like, obviously it's the highlight of his day as well. It just makes me feel really grateful. And yeah, it definitely helped my mood. And then I came home and I overthought things again, and it decreased my mood. But the sun definitely helped today. And energy levels and stuff have been a lot better with the sun being out as well. So all is fine, all is good. I haven't actually weighed myself since Monday morning. If you watched the last video, I had a bit of a feast on Monday. So I didn't want to weigh myself yesterday because I was like, that'll be like sky high retention from that. Let's not even bother. I was going to weigh myself this morning, but I could feel that because of the stress and just how I'd been feeling, that I was just carrying a lot more. And I was like, I don't need to worry myself with that. So depending on how I sleep tonight, how I feel tomorrow morning, I might weigh myself in the morning. But if not, I'll just kind of wait probably until the weekend when I've had actually like a good night's sleep. But other than Monday, like yesterday, today, macros and everything have been bang on. They will be for the rest of the week. Like any food in the house that was like tempting me is gone anyway. So it's literally just staying on top of meal prep, which my meal prep for the weekend is still going strong. So happy about that. I'll do some more like prep tomorrow and then cook stuff up Friday while I'm working. And I've just got in a good routine with it. And training is definitely benefiting from it as well. I also wonder if my food on Monday may have potentially impacted kind of how my hip and everything's feeling, just because I think generally I'm more inflamed, which doesn't really help when you've got like injuries and stuff you're dealing with. And also stress. Stress will not be helping it either. So those things I need to sort out, but all is fine. Everything is good. I've had some really interesting conversations. In the last video, I mentioned that I'd put a post on Instagram about quitting drinking as an athlete, basically, whether or not people should drink alcohol as an athlete. And I've had so many really good conversations with people about this topic, like people that I've not really spoken to before as well, that have been reaching out, and like some people have been sharing on their stories and stuff and saying about their experience. But I've had a lot of people messaging me privately about it, and like it's been really nice. And actually, one thing as a coach that I really pride myself on is teaching people and giving people the tools that they need to succeed kind of without me. And then I'm essentially there for accountability. Not as much with powerlifting, more so with nutrition, but obviously with powerlifting as well. Like if people are coaches that come to me, I will always, even people that aren't coaches, I will always explain the decision and stuff behind what we're doing. But obviously there's different levels of depth you can go into. But I would always just want to pass knowledge on and like teach people and help people grow kind of within their own knowledge so they can make more informed decisions, especially with their nutrition. And one thing I've been wanting to do for such a long time is like some kind of informative topics-based like seminar-esque thing, not like a live seminar probably, just like information packs. And I have a massive information pack that I send to everyone when they start with me anyway. And I have like various videos and stuff for powerlifting clients as well. But I really want to hone in on that and really dive into that. And one thing that I thought last night when I was like laying in bed stressed, I literally woke up at 5 o'clock this morning, just ideas whirring around my head, all this stress was just in my mind. And then I was like, right, what can I think about that will put me in a good mood? And I was like, oh, let's think about work, ironically. And weirdly, that's like the least stressful thing right now, which is just madness. But I was thinking about it and I was like, all right, what topics can I do? And I was like, oh my God, this alcohol topic is like massive. And the Instagram post I put up was quite a basic level of information because I just think people don't want to know things in like tons of detail. It's enough to obviously give people tools and knowledge to help them with decisions, but it's not like a crazy in-depth post because I don't think that's what people will need to see on social media / want to see. But what I've decided is my first like informative seminar-based thing will be on the effects of alcohol for athletes. And I was like, that would actually be a really interesting topic. I think my clients would benefit from it. And then from there, I can kind of keep going. But yeah, I'm really excited to put that together. And I think it's going to be really fun. And I need to decide whether or not I want to make these seminars just clients only, or if I want to make like a paid subscription-y type thing for people that don't want nutrition coaching but want access to the seminars. Firstly, I do need to obviously like put them together, which is kind of my plan for later this week and over the weekend and stuff where I've got a little bit more free time. It's kind of what I want to do. I want to start putting like at least a backlog of like 4 or 5 presentation type things together and like documents together. And then I'll start like filming them, recording them and stuff. And I think that would be really cool. So I need to decide what to do with that. And I guess if anyone would be interested in that sort of thing that doesn't want coaching specifically, but would like kind of the knowledge elements behind it, let me know. You can kind of start brainstorming ideas there. Or if there's any topics that you think other people would benefit from, also let me know. But anyway, I need to stop talking. I need to get in the right headspace to train. I think it'll be okay. Nothing's heavy. I should be fine. So I need to warm up and get going, but a little bit concerned about my hamstring issue and my hip and everything, but I think I'll be fine once I kind of get started. So let's stop talking and let's crack on. Okay, so literally just finished deadlifting. Mood is definitely a lot better. Funnily enough, training made me feel good. Yeah, mood's a lot better. Squats were fine. I'm a little bit out of breath if you can't tell. Squats were fine. The 160 set of 4, which was the heaviest one, maybe not quite as quick as I wanted it to be, but I think visually watching it back, it was super quick. It was just in the moment, it maybe didn't feel quite as quick, but it was still like an RP6 at best, which is good. I mean, it feels like a million miles away to get back to where I was with squats, but I also know that there's literally been like no mental stimulus, no mental hype this block. So I can't think like that. But when I think back to like my strongest, I was squatting like 180 for 4 on my secondary day. I think I hit 5 on a secondary day once as well. It just feels mad to me that 160 for 4 part of my brain is like, oh, this is heavy, even though like it wasn't heavy, it was fine. But it's just getting back to that confidence level, and obviously figuring out the programming side of it as well. But I'm quite excited to now start pushing a bit more. Hamstring was okay. Well, I say hamstring, it's actually more in my glute today, which I think was the same on Sunday, where like the pain originates at like the insertion point at the top of my hamstring, like bottom of my glute. And then the last couple of sessions when I've squatted, it's almost like pulled into my left glute, but it's fine. It's not, I'm not worried about it. But yeah, squats were fine. High bar was like a little bit awkward, but it moved fine. Like everything was so light that there's not really a lot to say. Bench, I was actually really happy with bench. So this day never feels super strong on bench, just because on a Tuesday, so obviously today's Wednesday, so on a Tuesday I have heavy Larsen press, and then I have, and like before I was doing Larsen press on this day, it was heavy like 3 count pauses on bench. And then I have loads of upper accessories, and I really pushed them last night, and like I felt sore in my upper body like all day today. So the first couple sets at 90 were like easy, but my body felt just like a little bit sore and stiff. By the third set, which is the one that I filmed, it felt super smooth and I felt really good, and it's probably the best bench it's felt on this day. And it's also the heaviest we've gone on this day, which obviously 90 isn't heavy in respect to like what I normally bench or like what I can bench for a set of 5, but it just felt good. And I think that actually put me in a good mood just because I love bench. And then sumo was comfortable. 3x4 at 140. I actually probably shouldn't admit this. Definitely don't do as I say, not as I do. Do not copy me. I decided to just start at 120 because I couldn't bother to get the deadlift jack up like under the bar twice. So I literally started at 120 and it actually felt really good. I was obviously warm from, like it's really warm in here tonight, and I was warm from just squatting and benching anyway. But yeah, I did 120 straight to 140. Funnily enough, the first couple of sets at 140 didn't feel as good as the third because I wasn't as warm, but it's fine. All felt really smooth, all felt really fluid, happy with how everything moved. And yeah, I'm in a much better mood now. I think one of the things that was annoying me, and I think I've kind of thought of a way to word this without going into specifics. Don't get me wrong, there's like other stuff going on outside of powerlifting and stuff that's been like on my mind, but the like powerlifting related thing that's not like uber personal was the fact that I'm kind of just annoyed at the fact that it's almost deemed bad quality if a woman is competitive. And it annoys me that like men are starting to trash talk more in powerlifting. Men are allowed to like say things and talk their shit, you know, whatever. But if a woman says anything that, you know, could be deemed as remotely like not putting down their competition, but like bigging themselves up against their competition, it's just taken as like, oh, you're not supportive, you're not a girl's girl. And I'm like, and this like, again, I'm not going to go into major specifics, but my boyfriend and I have been talking about it today. And I was like, well, I'm done being a girl's girl. I'll be a man's man. They have it much easier. And that's kind of our new line. But yeah, like you see it throughout the entire sport at like a high level with other lifters as well. Like we are in a sport at the end of the day. And with powerlifting, it's very hard because it is like an entry level sport in like for a lot of people. And, you know, I love that. And I love, you know, and I encourage my clients never to compare other people's progress to their own. And I try and implement that in my own life as well. But it's still a sport at the end of the day. And you are allowed to want to be better than other people and like make jokes about it and stuff. Like that is okay, because at the end of the day, you're still in a sport. Do I think you should be fueled entirely by trying to beat one person specifically or chase numbers? Absolutely not. Like that is not going to get you anywhere. But I do think it should be okay to actively say out loud, I want to be better than someone. I want to, not someone specifically, but like, I want to be the best. You can say that out loud. Like, I would love to be the best. I want to be stronger than Agatha Shitcoat. I'm not there. But you know, you're allowed to say that. Why aren't we allowed to say that? Why aren't we encouraged to say that? I put a post on Instagram the other week and it was like, don't be afraid to dream out loud. Part of that, like the hours I put into this sport, of course I want to be stronger than everyone else. Otherwise, why am I doing this? Like this is like my hobby. Obviously I love lifting heavy anyway. And even if I never knew what anyone else lifted ever, I would still do this because I just love it and I love the way it makes me feel and I like being strong. But you're also allowed to enjoy the sport side of it. Like I come from a sporting background. I'm allowed, like if that's not what fuels me, because again, I just love doing this. Like I would do it regardless of the competition or not. But from the sporting element, and like I'm at a competitive level as well, like I'm allowed to want to speak in this competitive way, and like I have like a jokey rivalry with another 84 in the country, even though like we're actually good friends. But like it's okay to do this, like obviously say everything with respect and, you know, respect each other. But there is nothing wrong, and I think this is my message, like there is nothing wrong with wanting to be the best, with wanting to be better, with wanting to be competitive. There is nothing wrong with that. Equally, there's nothing wrong with literally having no interest in what anyone else was doing and only focusing on yourself. If anything, that's probably a better way to be. But for some of us, we're just competitively driven people, and that's me, and I'm in that category. I don't encourage everyone else to be like this. Like, you need to find your camp and what fuels you and what works for you. And, you know, a lot of people fall into this trap of comparison, and that's what causes them to burn out, and we don't want that. And one of the things I'm so passionate about at the moment is avoiding burnout for lifters and helping other people through it. And like the amount, like I've suddenly become over the last year the coach that people go to when they're burning out, because I will adapt programming to suit what works for them and what they enjoy and what works within their life. And I'm not afraid to do things that aren't seen as conventionally like powerlifting-esque programming, the optimal program. I will make it optimal to your life and help you find the love and passion for the sport again. Like that's literally become my niche somehow over the last year, which I love. Not that these people are burning out, but I love that they know they can come to me and I will work with them through that and find a way for them to have fun again. Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. But like, it's a sport. You're allowed to want to be competitive. And I just think people need to remember that. Like, we all have different reasons for doing this. We all have different goals within this. It's okay if your goal is to just literally be in your own world and your own bubble. And I think that's fantastic for, to be honest, the majority of lifters. But it's also okay if you want to be the best. That is also okay. As long as the way you go about it is sensible and makes sense, it is okay. And the other big thing, I guess, is also make sure that your actions align with your goals. Like, if I'm sitting here saying I want to be the absolute best, but I continue to eat the way I did in December and not fuel my training and feel disgustingly inflamed and just unhealthy in myself and my body, I'm not really living up to my goals, am I? Like, you have to align your actions with your goals. That's also a really important thing. But basically, one of the things that bothers me is the fact that like women aren't allowed to talk their shit. Women aren't allowed to dream big within a sport. Like, yes, we are. Yes, we are. Like, that is absolutely fine. And we should say it with our chests as well. And this is something that I'm pretty good at doing this anyway, but I'm definitely getting better at, is actually saying what I want to achieve out loud. If it takes me 10 years, I don't care. And I think one thing with me is like, in my family, we've kind of always described me as a bit of a bulldozer. Like, I will bulldoze my way to where I want to be, no matter what it takes. I've always been that kind of personality. Like, I'm very stubborn. And I think this is where like, that kind of comes out a little bit. And I think that's why basically something happened today that really bothered me. And there's been a few things recently, to be fair, that have bothered me in a similar light. But today, there was a conversation I had that like, I was trying to figure out where it stemmed from. And I think that's where it stemmed from, not from my perspective, but from the other person's perspective. It just stemmed from them not seeing it as okay for a woman to want, not a woman specifically, this person was also a woman, them not seeing it as okay to encourage people to want to be competitive and better than other people at the sport that they're training in. Like, that is okay. Obviously, takeaway message is also do not ever put anyone else down. Like, I say so, like, when I'm putting like cocky stories up on Instagram, for example, or whatever, like captions on posts, whatever, I'm being sarcastic. Like, I am absolutely being sarcastic, because at the end of the day, I'm just having fun here. And that is sarcasm. But I think this was something I want to just kind of get off my chest. That might not have made much sense, but I hope there's some pinpoints that you can kind of take from there. But anyway, I'm going to get my rehab stuff done. I've got a couple of accessories, or an accessory to get done as well. Realised I didn't do my pull down and rows yesterday because the gym was packed, so I'm going to get those done. And then I'm going to head in. I'm going to go on a little dog walk. I'm going to get some food in my system, have a shower, and I'm going to tuck myself up in bed. Glad I'm not going to the gym tonight, because it does save me a bit of time. It allowed me to just kind of take my time in here as well. And I think mentally I kind of needed that. I think I might have to like speak to my coach about potentially changing up how we're doing my accessories, because like I don't mind going to the gym on this night, but it seems kind of pointless just going for one movement. It's been fine because my boyfriend generally goes on a Wednesday. I don't know did I even mention that I'm not going to the gym tonight? I messaged my coach when I started squatting and was like, look, does it actually make any sense for me to go to the gym tonight? That's not how I worded it. I basically just asked him, is it okay for me to not go tonight because I've literally got one accessory? Usually it's fine, because my boyfriend will go and he'll do a session and I'll just do my accessory, do some cardio, do some replies, and that's fine. And like, it's worth the trip because he's getting a good session in. but it doesn't feel worth the trip tonight when it's going to take up like roughly an hour of my day, maybe a bit less, this late at night, when I could be getting to bed earlier. Just for this one accessory that is such a minor movement that it's actually like, it's not a vital part of my program. Like, it's not going to affect my movement patterns. It's not going to affect, like, it's more of like an extra thing. And yeah, obviously I would normally do it, but basically I'm thinking to myself, I think I either need more accessories on this day, or we need to move the accessory that I do to a different day, and I'll go to the gym a different day, because there's no point in me going to the gym for one movement that's like, it'd be different if it was like a leg press or a hack squat or something heavy that I needed the machine for. But I can also do, it's like a hip flexor movement. I can do hip flexor variations at home, you know. So anyway, this was a really long video. I didn't intend for it to be. On the plus side, we're ending with me in a much better mood. But yeah, I need to get this finished up and head in. So if you've made it to the end, thank you very much. I hope my ramble made some sense. If not, I'm sorry. But also, let me know your thoughts on women chatting shit within the sport, and like whether you see it as like a competitive sport or just you versus you. Like, I think that's a really interesting topic. Anyway, gonna wrap the video up here. Thank you very much. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're not already. And I will see you in a few days for the next one.